Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special thank you to our sponsors, the Marketing with Russ, Hender Design, Kim Housley Farmers Insurance, and Extreme Graphics. For more information on Hender Design Build and Remodel, go to HenderDesignBuild.com. And for more information on Extreme Graphics and their graphic services, go to ExtremeGraphics.com. And finally, for Kim Housley Farmers Insurance in Junction City, call 541-998-2301. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Looking forward to another amazing day. I have got all kinds of mountains in front of me, but you know what? I am trusting God that it is going to be an amazing day in spite of a little bit of challenging things going on ahead of me. I won't go into all that, but you know what? We all have things like that, right? I know you do too. You've got things that you've got to climb each day, and you know what? It makes us better, it makes us stronger. And so hang in there. We've got this, right? I'm just thankful for a new day, and I'm thankful for my friend Terrence, who's going to be on with me today. You know, I've been blessed with not only speaking to Terrence several times, but having him on one of my other shows already. And just what an amazing perspective. What an amazing man. And, you know, we did a Russ Reels Live about words mean things. And if you missed that episode, you can go back to my YouTube page and watch it if you'd like. And how do you get to my YouTube page? marketingwithruss.live. I'll tell you more about that in a sec. But anyway, just really, really, what a great perspective. And we're going to talk more. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about himself. But first, I just want to thank you for being here today. You know, this just would not be possible without you. You are the people that make this possible, and I thank you for that. And I pray that today you're going to have an amazing day in front of you. What I would love for you to do is start off by sharing this out this morning. Let people know as you come in this morning, please share it and let people know, hey, Terrence is on, Marketing with Russ is on, come on down. And we would love to have you here as part of that today. Because you know what? We're all about how amazing people connect here on Marketing with Russ. People sometimes ask me, what does that really have to do with marketing connection? Well, just about everything. Connection and community building is the foundation, I believe, of any good marketing plan, any good business, really any good life. And so we are all about connection and learning how so many different amazing people, and I am blessed to call amazing friends, connect in whatever their business, whatever their life circumstances are. So anyway, I just love connection. And by the way, the best way to connect with me is at russhedge.com. russhedge.com. That's the best way to find out anything you want, really. It's got connections to all my social media, all my pages. It's got all my live streams, all the stuff that's going on, my marketing coaching. You today, if you go to russhedge.com, you can get a free download, how to successfully now I'm spacing my own free download. There you go. Okay. Successfully transform your business in 3 simple steps. All right, brain cramp there for a moment. And what does that mean? You can transform your business through connection and community building. I give you simple ways to do that. You will be thankful that you downloaded that. No strings attached. It's all yours for free. So get that today. It also gets you on my list to send you encouraging emails each morning. And let me tell you, they're not salesy. They're just encouraging and uplifting. There's connections to me. If you want to click on something and go somewhere else, that's great. You can do that, but they're just there to encourage you today. And that's what I want to do. My wire purpose in life is to inspire and encourage you to live a purpose driven life of significance. What do I mean by that? Well, I want you to be a world changer. I want you to be a difference maker. I want you to do the amazing things God has created you to do. And I believe you could do it. We all have amazing, and it's just ready to burst out. And I believe yours is ready to go. So get out there and do that today. We talked about YouTube before. Please subscribe on YouTube. You can open a separate tab. You can go directly to marketingwithruss.live. If you type that in, it'll take you directly to my YouTube page. Then you can see Terrence's other show on Russ Reels Live. You can also see all the old Marketing with Russ, Russ Reels Live, and even uploading now the Experience Live with Russ and Scott to that, besides our separate page. So you can get all that stuff on there. So please go there, subscribe today. Please, again, share this out. You can hit that share button now, whether you're watching live or on replay. It doesn't matter. You can still share this out. So I encourage you today to do that. Get this, tell your friends, tag them, say, hey, Bob, hey, Julie, come on down. Hey, Whitney, time to come into the show. So if you could do that, that would be so great. It really is great for me, but it's also a way to inspire and encourage your friends. So there you go. All right. And last but not least, 2 books. Number one, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, my inspiring, encouraging book, available on Amazon, all online booksellers. Along with, you can get the companion workbook on Amazon only. And my latest book, I'm co author of Rattled Awake, blessed to be with amazing co authors, and including my friend Willie J, who was just on the cover of Forbes magazine in Morocco. And that is an amazing thing. Anyway, yeah, bestseller overnight, international bestseller overnight, and number one in his category on Amazon when it came out. So, lots of amazing things going on. You get that on Amazon as well today. Go to Rattled Awake, and it's volume 1. And if you want to be part of another one, go to Lonnie Ray's page, and Lonnie Ray's page will appear magically in the comments, and she can direct you for volume 2 or 3 or somewhere down the road. You can become part of that. That'd be amazing. Okay, there we go. I think I've said enough now. I got to get Terrence in the room. There he is, Dr. Terrence. How's it going, man?
How you doing, Russ?
I am so good. You could tell morning is my time, right? I am just like, whoop. My wife always says, honey, just settle down a little bit. Just settle down. But you know what? Hey, I've got lots of energy in the morning. That's just the way I am.
It's good. It's like you're a natural coffee for everybody.
Well, I tell you, when I have you on with that big smile, it makes me feel great. I just love the joy that you emanate. And so before we get into everything, let's just start off with the basics.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, who is Dr. Terrence Johnson and what are you up to?
Yeah. So the way I described it has kind of changed. And I thought about it before we got on. The best way to describe myself is a storyteller. I think that's what I am at the core. And I use stories to kind of do different things, or I've used them in different ways in my career or life. So I've been a kind of experiencer of stories or listener of stories through like being a counselor, therapist, where I kind of listen to somebody else's story and kind of help them navigate that. But I've also like I'm a writer at heart too. So I love story, I love writing. But I also love visual stories too. So I love films. I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan. Like I seen Oppenheimer twice. so so I love it. Interstellar, like one of my favorite movies. So I love documentaries and kind of hearing the story of somebody else's process of how they got from one place to the next. But also just stories that have resonated with me. Wow, like you were talking about before, when you meet amazing people and have these conversations, they expand your world and it brings a certain energy to you. And it's an exchange of not just thoughts and ideas, but energy. And I think all of that's important. And so for me, I'm always looking like, what's the next thing for me to learn? Instead of like, it used to be accomplishment driven, and I used to be the workaholic and staying up all night and the perfectionist and all that kind of stuff. And I just like wore my body out. Like I got the hospital bills to show for it, So like I've had a emergency appendectomy. I had a real bad car accident before. Like I have sciatica, and so that flares up from time to time. So I always have to like make sure I'm not doing too much and I'm
Right.
staying grounded and balanced because when you're a person that's real passionate and driven, you only have one gear, and it's like go and not go. And sometimes you gotta have some like individual gears in there. Like you had a manual, you need like first and second gear, and not
Right.
just fifth gear all the time. And I think for me, I've really been intentional about like trying to learn more about myself from myself and not from other people. And that hasn't always been the case. But now I'm very intentional about asking myself the right question and then listening for myself to give me the answer.
Right. Well, and I think I love what you just said there. I mean, there were so many mic drops in that. I don't even know where to start, but um, you were talking about learning, and you're learning through this is what's so great about storytelling, right? These stories, we learn through stories and we learn through other stories, and we learn by listening. And so, besides being a storyteller, you need to be a story listener, right? And so that takes us, so like you were talking about some of the things in your life too. We all have struggles and we all have challenges, but they are, I believe, learning opportunities, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All the time. And I think when we kind of repeat the same things until we learn it. And I think it's because we don't get the right perspective. So it's not that we look at what we went through like from the wrong lens. We just look at it from the wrong angle.
Right.
And maybe we
Amen.
just need to like shift the camera and look at it from another view and like,
Mhm.
oh, that makes more sense now. Oh, I understand it. Oh, I understand why I had to go through that, even if I didn't enjoy it or even though it was difficult. Like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to handle this next step that came.
Right. Well, and see, I think again, that is a great point. And realizing, so I was watching a special last night about, and it was really talking about uh, going through things, and sometimes they're very challenging, but how we're learning from that. And it was really, this would happen to be a perspective on God's faithfulness through all of that, right? And I'm a strong believer that God is faithful through all the struggles. He works all things for the good, and I believe that we are not promised that all those troubles are going to go away in this life.
Right.
We have to navigate those, but those are what strengthen us. Kind of like the story of the butterfly, right? The
Hmm.
butterfly, the caterpillar would not become a butterfly that could actually go off and fly without the struggle of the process. It has to
Hmm.
struggle the butterfly to get out at the end, and by doing that, it strengthens its wings so it's
Hmm.
able to fly. Without that, if you are being compassionate and unwinding the butterfly too early, it's going to just fall over and die because it needs that struggle. So I think that's so important. And, when you're talking about stories, how do you relate that to people? They're feeling like, I don't want this. I want it to go away. How do you relate that idea of really how important that is, even when it's tough?
So for me, well, one thing I wanted to talk, well, a piece I wanted to connect when you're talking about the butterfly early this morning, because I go on nature walks every morning. And so one of the words that kind of came to me when I was writing this morning was a cocoon. And
There you
I
go.
kind of felt like this year I've kind of been in a cocoon. Because a lot of people they may be like, where you been? And we haven't seen you, and you haven't been posting, you haven't been doing. And I've kind of been in a space where what I used to do or what I used to post or what I used to write, it didn't feel right for me. And I'm a big person of intent, and I can't just do something because I could do it. I want to do it because I feel like it's one the right time, but then two, I'm doing it in the way that feels right for me. And for a while, none of it felt right. Like I would have ideas to post and stuff like that. Like, no, it doesn't. I don't know. Like it doesn't feel
Right.
like me or where I'm at right now. And for me, when you talk about stories, for me, my challenges are always invitations for other people to look at their situation differently. Like one of the stories I told for a while was about me and my dad, and he passed. It's almost been 2 years since he passed. But the reason I told it is because I know a lot of men have issues with their fathers, or that's a sticking point for them, and that was a sticking point for me for a while. So I was like, I'm gonna be better than my dad. I'm not gonna make the same mistakes as him. I want to be my own man. But when you realize you kind of are your dad, like you have a lot of characteristics about him. So even if you want to separate yourself from, like you can't, and you gotta. Oh, go
Have
ahead.
you hit that point? Oh no, I'm my dad.
Yeah,
It's like when you're young, it's like, oh my goodness, I sound exactly like my dad. My son now tells me that. He goes, I'm saying something the other day, and I'm like, I'm you, Dad. I'm you. I can't believe it. But you know what? I think as you get older, your perspective changes. That's one thing you're talking about. Perspective. Your
mhm,
perspective changes, and what do you say? I'm so thankful for my dad. I'm so thankful that I gained some great traits. And I know not everybody has that great
right.
dad in their life. So, for those that are out there listening and thinking, I didn't have a good dad, I didn't have a good experience, I understand that. I do. And, but what I think is that for those of us that had amazing dads, you get to that point where you're just thinking, yeah, I'm just so thankful, right?
And for
Yeah.
me, our relationship changed over the years because I saw him as human instead of my dad as I got older. And then he was my best friend up until he passed. And so for me, like one of my most challenging phases has been like moving. I moved 3 years ago, August of 2020. So I moved from Jackson, Mississippi to Gallatin, Tennessee, um, during the pandemic, not necessarily knowing where I was gonna go, if I was gonna stay, whatever. I just knew I needed to transition, like we've been talking about. Um, Sometimes God gives you a glimpse or a kind of nudge, it's like it's time to go. And he doesn't really tell you where or how or what, it just, hey, you need to go. You need to shift. You need to, and I was obedient to that, but also I didn't know the next steps. And so a lot of times with changes, it's a faith walk where you can't know what's going to be around the corner, because if you did, you wouldn't step forward. Because
Right.
if you knew, if you step forward and then like, oh, this is going to happen, oh, that's going to happen, like, well, I'm going to stay where I'm at. And I think for me, is being comfortable with that constant uncertainty of what tomorrow will bring. Because I was, in a real controlled environment, because I had my teaching job, I had all these connections from home, my all my family was there, all that kind of stuff. And I literally uprooted my whole life, packed my car up, and headed up the road. And came to a new place with new people and had to make new connections and all this stuff. And so through that, I learned more about me, and not
Right.
me in context of what I do, but people connecting with me because of me and not because of where I worked or what I drive or all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, I resonate with you as a person. And I've had these amazing conversations with people from all different walks of life. Like my neighbor, he owns a tattoo shop. So he looked like one of the folks like on like the tattoo shows and all that kind of stuff. And we just always been cool. Like he was like the first person that I met when I moved up here. And we've had some like real cool conversation about life and just about, what we wanted to do and purpose stuff. But I wouldn't have never encountered him if I wouldn't have shifted or moved or opened myself up for new opportunities. And I think that's what life is about. I think that uncertainty comes from our like desire to control everything. And it's so much of our life that's outside of our control. Um, but the things that you can control are how you kind of control what's in your like direct vicinity, with like how you take care of your body or how you treat other people or how you kind of reflect on the things that you do or don't do. Those are more in your control. But how things are gonna play out and how things are gonna work out down the line, you don't really know that. We don't really know that.
Right.
And it would be nice to, in our head if we did, but sometimes it's best that our things don't work out the way we want them to.
Yes. Well, and what you're saying too, we have choice over certain things and where we go and what we do. And, I'm the big live the life you choose guy. So, I mean, life happens and then we choose, right? Through all the stuff going on. And, I think that, so as this moves along, let me bring this back to the stories because what I really, um, what I really like to touch on again, Terrence, because you're big on this. Words are so important,
Mhm,
and the stories we tell impact people in a positive or negative way, right? And I think words mean things, and we need to remember that, and how we impart that, then also how we receive that, right?
mhm.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for me, what I realized is one, that language or the words we use have a lot to do with us at the core. So
Right.
when I'm not being like loving towards myself, the words that I give out may not be loving either. And so it's like if I want to change my word or be real intentional about my word, I really need to be intentional about the words I tell myself. And like for this week, that's kind of what I've been focusing on. It's like I had been drifting into like watching YouTube too much or being on my phone too much. I'm like, I got to quiet myself. I got to like get all this noise out of my head so I can hear me and kind of tune back into myself. And for me, like writing the words down, but also breaking words down. So what I'll do is, and actually on my whiteboard right here, I got words that I was breaking down yesterday. But I'll take a word and kind of write out what I feel about it. So like repurpose was a word that kind of
Right.
came for me. And so then I was like, okay, what do I feel about repurpose? And then what kind of images come up for me with repurpose? So like for me, I like I said before, I love like Goodwill and thrift stores and whatever. So when I got my apartment had a lot of stairs, so it's not easy to like get a couch up there. So I was like, well, I need some. I just want to have something to lay down on, like if I want to watch something. So I got some pallets. I found some pallets at like a Sherwin Williams. They're like, hey, can I get those pallets? Like, can I get them for free? Like, yeah, you can pick them up. You can put them in the car. And so I got the pallets, and I was like, okay, I need some cushions. Where can I find some cushions? So I went to the Goodwill, and they had some cushions. I was like, all right, I'll wash the cushions, got the cushion. And then I kind of made it like a futon. And so for me, that was like repurposing something. So you got a pallet that's used for something for like shipping and all that. And then now I'm using it for like something I can lay down on and enjoy, a movie with. And so I think that's a lot of things that we can do with our words too. We can repurpose our words to kind of mean
I
something
love that.
to us. So like it might be a textbook definition, but so just like you got wood behind you, I got wood behind me too, and
Hmm.
it's a repurposed thing too. So this is I got this at the Habitat store and repainted it and mounted it. And so but wood for you might mean different things than it does for me. Like I like outdoors, it's peaceful for me. That's why I like a lot of wood around me. That kind of give me reminders of kind of like more natural, real things. But wood for you might mean something different. And it's not meaning that your definition, my definition need to change. You got different context to that word than I do. And I think that's the main point. The context of your life kind of colors your words.
I think that is an amazing point. The context of your life. So really, let's think about that too. Your life is made up of a lot of words. Those
Mhm,
words come from within us, right?
mhm,
And a lot of times we need to remember. I like what you said about repurposing because yes, you take little maybe gold nuggets that you've been able to speak or
mhm,
be used, or maybe you borrowed from somebody else, right? And
mhm,
you can use those and repurpose those to what? Encourage people, lift
mhm,
people up, direct people in the right direction, encourage people, educate people. There's so many great things you can do.
mhm,
And yeah, that is just so amazing. So in a practical sense,
mhm.
Terrence, somebody calls you and they say, Dr. Terrence, I need your help. What can you do for me? Give me a little bit of insight. If I reach out to you today, what can you do for me? How can you help me?
And so for me now, what I'm always focused on is how can I help people tell their story better or to activate the story that they already have. So for a lot of my career, I was the answer. And I don't necessarily want to be the answer in that sense. I want to lead other people to their answer that they already have, that they don't know they have. And I think that's a more collaborative way of looking at things because one thing that I realized is when you feel like you're the expert in somebody's life, then that can kind of have a certain arrogance to that, where it's like I know better about you than you know about yourself. But
Right.
that's not true.
Kind of arrogant.
That's not true. And so for me, I've really been like really sitting down, like, okay, how do I want to help people, but not in a way where I feel like I'm taking so much responsibility on for their own like situation, but also for them to have a different feeling in what I'm doing. So I don't want them to feel heavy or feel weighed down by what we're talking about. I want them to leave empowered or leave with a more kind of warm feeling. I want to be conversational. And so for me, whether that's, and I've been doing some consulting lately, but my consulting has really been like I said before, like taking those words and then using the imagery around that and then allowing people to kind of brainstorm through their own lens. And so kind of like how a songwriter would do. You kind of have these songwriting camps where you have the people and they kind of sit together. Say, okay, so what's going on in your life? Like, okay, well, I just had this breakup, whatever, like that. Like, oh, well, what piece of that could resonate with somebody else? And it's not all about just the event. It's about how can you translate that to somebody else or transfer that emotion to somebody else. And so whether that, like I was doing some consulting with the church here that I attend, helping them kind of do some like branding around it, like storytelling. But I've also kind of did some like one-on-one things too, but it's more or less around the story and like what story do you want to tell or what story you've been working on and who might be that audience for that story. And so it's not about kind of coaching somebody towards a goal, it's like, just like if your life was a movie or something, like what would you want to watch? It's like,
Right.
like,
What do you want people to remember, right? I
yeah,
mean, I think it's kind of like your legacy. Your legacy comes from who you really are, and those words and those actions through your life develop that. So, you know what? This just kills me, Terrence. You are amazing, and we are already at the end of our time. So what I want to do is I want you to continue that thought, but give us your little wrap up gold nugget of the day, and
yeah,
then tell everybody how they get in touch with you. And we're just going to have to do this again. That's all there is to it.
yeah. So my wrap up would be that each day there are reminders of who you are, but also who you've always been. And the journey or the gap that we have is the gap of where we drifted from that original core self. And we're always in journey back to that. So it's not a journey to find, but a journey to like reconnect with ourselves. Um, and navigate through all the things and limitations that other people put on us to really realize, like, hey, I got within me everything I need. I just didn't remember or I forgot what it was and where it was.
Right.
And so that would be my nugget. If people want to connect with me, like I said, LinkedIn is probably the best way. I am probably in the next week about to have a whole lot more stuff and a whole lot more ways to get in contact with me. But that is the main thing. The one thing that I probably will share, I think about doing it today, but we're probably gonna have another conversation for that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna continue this. There's another part coming.
So the other thing that I've been learning about is like my family history, and so I have a cultural journey that I'm going through right now that I'm really trying to, not trying, I am diving deep into it. And so I think the next time I'll have a connection to the introduction to that for people so they can kind of see a trailer for that. So yes,
That'd be
that's
great.
right.
That would be great. Yes, we got to get you scheduled because the schedule's moving too fast for me to stay up with it. So we're gonna, as soon as we get done here, hang tight. We're gonna schedule part two or
Okay.
three or four, whatever this one is. So, all right, Terrence. Well, listen, bless you. All your connection information magically appeared below us, and there it is again. And
Okay.
anybody that wants to get a hold of Terrence, it's in the show notes. It's in the comments. It's clickable. All you got to do is click on it to go straight to Terrence. You will be glad you did. What an amazing guy. And Terrence, thank you. Bless you for being here today. And I'm going to say goodbye, but don't go anywhere. I'll see you in the green room.
All right. Thank.
All right. Well, there you go. Making sure I push the right buttons here at the end. And yeah. Oh, I tell you, truly amazing. I am blessed with amazing friends. And if you want to know how amazing people connect, tune in every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie, right here on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. And you can get amazing information, value, connections, all kinds of great stuff. Hope you've all been connecting. Please connect in the comments as well. Say hi to those friends around you, because this is a great place to continue to build community and share this out. Please, please, please. Like I had said before, if you were willing to just push that share button, that'd be so great. Let others know. Tag your friends. Say, hey, you missed out. You need to connect with Terrence. Love for you to do that. All of his information is there. Also, don't forget, I'm at russhedge.com. Love for you to subscribe on YouTube. That's just going to marketingwithruss.live. Super simple. And I'm telling you, it has been an amazing morning. I just want to encourage you today to get out there and just make it a great day. And if you did miss this today, you go back and watch it on replay. Remember, if you're watching on replay, please put hashtag team replay and let us know. Say hi. But replay is right there all the time for you, and you can still share this to other people even after we're done live. So it would be so great to have you let us know that you're here, even on replay. And I am praying for a blessed, an amazing day for you today. And until we see you again, which would be when? Monday coming up at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Oh, almost forgot. Today at 4 p.m., Russ Reels Live, an amazing show, an amazing panel. Tune in. We're going to be talking about building your network. There you go. You're going to want to tune into that one. So until then, we'll see you. Have an awesome day and an awesome life. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.